I don't know if it's because of internet coaches, internet coaches, or if it's because of this, or this, or this internet coaches, or people telling you how to live your best lives and stuff, and live in a state of abundance and whatever, and just generally like upgrading your perspective on the world after living in a place like London or a certain culture, or cities mostly, I suppose, right? But after listening to all this stuff, it's just like something like Newsnight. It literally, I think wealthy pensioners getting heating payments. It's like, what am I fucking listening to? What actually is it? Like, political infrastructures and distraction techniques from people basically finding their own divinity and things that most people, as far as I can tell, are actually prioritising or drawn to after they've cracked or reached crisis points. And the only reason they reach and crack crisis points is because they're flogged like dead donkeys in a heavy work, heavy environment. And it's like, it happens to most people at the best of times. So what is it then? Well, what you do is you re-sculpture and remould and work with it. And you have all this diversity out there in like creative veins and different people. And I'm pretty sure after sort of like working across different industrial, you sort of get this sense that the governors and the other awards for the industrial scenes are obviously government, and Met Balls for films are Met. Why would you name diabetic pills metformin? It just feels like there's people that talk about the whole of life just being a simulation and stuff. And you go, oh yeah, if it is, why are you going to sit gripping and griping and groaning about fucking meagre benefits payments and every other motherfucking bullshit, boring, frugality fucking fuckery mindset? And you go, is it because I was brainwashed in my informative years? Is it because the law of attraction says that my informative years, my subconscious mind is what is always going to attract that in things, screens, mediums, whatever? But it's just like, once you've purified your space and realised what you want to attract, what you want to manifest, what you want to feel mostly emotionally, because there's not one news night or any other presentation that I can neither look at nor aspire to want to be on, or actually feel any empathetic or sympathetic or another me quality about anybody on it or anybody watching it or consuming it. And I've come to this different kind of like place. Oh yeah, no, most people living up a Himalayan mountain might be like that. Most people running around in nappies smoking ganja in the Indian forest might be like that. Or anybody else that lives in an alternative style off a grid. But the point is, industrious scenes seek to make grids out of more. And I personally feel like that's why when you look at the skyline going into London, it looks atrocious and it looks ever more bleaker, grey and prison-like, right? So like, you go, why would people aspire to live in this ugly, monstrous looking place anymore? And at street level, is there any more sort of commonality going on or anything to bond over by a societal or village vibe or anything? You don't know, they're probably forcing people out of the concrete jungle and into whatever different things. And once upon a time, I used to know people that used to go mad for the idea of living in a commune. And people seek commune online, and they seek different alternatives online. And like I said, when you go through issues and troubles and people don't support you or have your back or even fight for a solicitor to do right, and you go, well, what was that monstrosity of a cult or whatever it was I was in? And we dissect and look into things. And just on the way down the road, I found a piece of paper on the floor talking about Rockefellers, and it read like a lunatic piece of material, apparently authentic. Oh, this is what the plan was for the vaccine and the people and the a load of like plans and monstrosity thinking from apparently rich people. Probably just conspiracy theory stuff, but neatly typed out, wrapped around a CD, and I was like, okay, it just actually sounds like mental cases, all said and done, when people are living in an environment of information and historical documents, and the people that actually seek to groom your mind with history, real or otherwise, which is only niche history, because you hear of that and that alone, not individual stories, independently researched with a much diverse cultural look at all races over more of a long expanse, not just one demographic in, say, Western Virginia, and then the use of a word that everybody in the 80s used as like, because they're all just dizzy airheads in cities like London and Liverpool that have probably lived with many generations of multiculture and actually just all got on it as working class people. And so when a word come around, everybody was just using it, skating around skate parks, and then it was like, no, you can't do that, we've all become pleb-like and really sterile and like moralistic. We're all just going to be like this vibe, boom, with the year 2000 generation after there. Now hopefully they're lightening up. Are they lightening up? I don't know. Anyway, Rockefeller. Oh, he made the HIV and the things and the things and the bats and the bats apparently carry COVID before, and how, why is it transmuted or transitioned in bats better than it is in humans, and how can we manage it? We want a vaccine, whatever. Climate change, whatever bollocks, who cares? Rebranding a flu, who cares? It's only with the conglomerate control over the matrix, or the, as people call it, simulation, which is through a screen or a radio wave. And the people on some radio stations have all become very upbeat and chipper and happy as Larry all of a sudden. You go, oh, definitely a shift in vibration going on. That's good. It's good. Industry does add layers of things to be gratitude about in a sense of commune. But when you live in a place like London and the radio waves and the TV is what you're brought up with predominantly and the thing to listen to as your God, and then you go, well, you know, that's the industry you aspire to work in because they're the only people that people seem to listen to in your family. We all stare at a screen like a nuclear home. We all listen to the people talking on that, and often as youngest daughters we might feel a little bit like a cliche thing. Oh, the person that doesn't get listened to, the run or to be shot down. So you go, oh, that's a way to get respect. But then you find that that industry is disrespectful if you don't follow Rockefeller designs or whatever the fuck vaccine culture is. Oh, did you get your double jab the minute you were in a cell during COVID? Like, what the fuck are these creepy creepazoids on? You're a farm animal bred for purpose, and I'm in your trapments at this point in time. I don't want to be in this trapment. And it was all very dark and fucking scary. And it was all like, oh, I can see the potential. Oh, on this document, what did it say? Oh, apparently the government are trying to buy children off people for £1,000 to disembowel them or some weird fucking Luciferian shit. Like, is this true? Is it true? And if it was true, would it be documented? I mean, is that why when people say stuff on social media, they say that, oh, let's put it on TikTok and see this man getting arrested or this man getting arrested and what you can say and what you can't say? Who's to fucking know? I mean, are there dark esoteric societies shifting amongst those governor awards to government and from Met Balls to Met Police? Because the Met Police are all over the sets and they have uniforms that are actually real uniforms. So you get to thinking when you've been around them places, why the fuck are police pulling me off the road in a car control collision with creeps that you meet around this festival, that festival? It all feels very creepy as fuck. And you go, simulation? Why are you presenting me with these androidous people that are crossover industrial, supposedly think that it's alright to have mitts on me, and when you go into a pub they might overplay Eye of the Tiger like you're asking for it when you have no fucking want in it. It's just because you were born on a farm, perhaps probably to an alcoholic culturally person as one of your primary caregivers, and maybe you've been sold out and you didn't even realise. Maybe your mum sold you out and she didn't even know she was doing it because she was just taking a kid in a pram to a pub. Maybe it was something, but I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe I'm just talking a load of shit. Maybe I've just learned to love myself. after being traumatised the fuck out of myself by them. And I got so depressed I didn't take on any information. Now I only have good information that I can tolerate. And that's what it is to master this. To not allow anything in here that you don't want in here. Certainly don't want to hear a fucking crematorium fucking advert 20 times a day because you live in a terrestrial TV home. What is it? I'll tell you what it is. Derelict in places, and when industrial scenes are allowed to convey and pay, and certain people shrink and demographics marginalise certain demographics. That's what they do well. They marginalise them into being subordinate. When their subconscious mind becomes asleep, then they just soak it all up like a sponge and turn into little greys running around. Why? Because they're just consumers of money, substance, advertising, family, wages, jobs. They're no longer in any spirit of joyous life, running around a forest, foraging. And I can say this, hand on heart, as someone born on the farm that has the McDonald's and does everything like every other fucker in the vicinity. When you go out to a field, and you go out to somewhere, and you try magic mushrooms, and then you say, okay, well, I go through a little phase where I'll try to be minimal cannibal and eat no fucking flesh, and try to keep it lit, and drink kombucha with live bacteria, and have lots of mushrooms, and try consuming this, and do this weird conscious eating with your imagination. You get energy from minimal stuff, minimal calories, because you're feeding a part of your imagination. Not everybody has the imagination, not everybody has the creativity to be that autistic in nature towards their food, but it's highly simple, it's highly enjoyable, and it's highly desirable to achieve that level of, I just want to have fun. I don't want to have 3 square meals a day. I don't want to be groomed into a certain sensibility on a farm ritual. It's just being a guinea pig in a cage, or a hamster getting its treats. Or why do we do any of these rhythms? Why do people fast? Oh, that's a good one. Why they do this? You take the best bits of all cultures. And shouldn't you be happy and blessed with just life itself? And it's like I only just learned that mysticism is coconut flesh, and it's nutmeg. It's in that, so it can give you those audio hallucinations and different things, and what you have when you have magic mushrooms. Yeah, interesting. But people that like exploring the world as innocent people, innocence. That was clamped down on for a long time. I would like to think that it is actually now the staple of what we view as criminality in another human if they should seek to clamp down on someone exploring the actual magic of what it fucking is to be alive. And that is all I have to say on my preaching about what it is to be one of the rare, it would seem, enlightened human beings, aware of so much on the planet, and it should not be a threat to anybody. Only would it be a threat to people that don't know their own majesty. And so all they should really teach in schools is like being at scouts or something, how to forage and eat and do things like that. It should all be like that at primary school. We didn't do enough of that. Nobody does that at primary school. It should all be like that, like what your nan vaguely used to do, like this is this flower, or this is that flower, or identifying a flower, or what it is to be able to eat a flower, that kind of thing. Foraging in the wilderness and fun and skipping around in nature, that's what it should be predominantly. And herbalism's making a massive comeback. Herbalism, tinctures. Because once you're in touch with that energetic in yourself, you probably won't get sick. And you won't feel dis-ease. Because you won't be drinking off the farm culture. And Sugar, refined sugars. Well, let's replace it with another thing that we've never tested for that long on a person if they're going to consume too much of it every day. And if they have a dose of it every day, would it act like slow working poison? Do we know that about certain sweeteners that they brought out? Canderels, I think, is alright. Sucralose-based ones, alright. But what the fuck? Why are you inventing a food in a laboratory to put in every fucking thing, including perverting the course of full-fat Pepsi? How very dare they? And Tango, and Fanta, and all of them. All the full-fat ones now have sugar and fucking aspartame in it. I mean, why? These kind of things just pose these questions that I naturally ask. But for some reason, mein Führer doesn't. Even though you give them this whole new umbrella of alternatives and cultural, fizzy, beautiful things that don't contain lab shit made from E. coli. E. coli poo as a sweetener. I don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. And I'd like to know. Where's my tribe? Where's my tribe?